Hello there everyone, it's me, Kevin Cage, here with yet another crypto update. For those of you who celebrate the 4th of July, I hope you all had a wonderful day, and now let's get started. First, we are going to quickly go through the price charts, and then we are going to go over some recent headlines. As a result of the holidays, the news is often slow this week on average. Let's hope that the news picks up significantly more during the approaching week. Not a problem. The first thing I'd want to discuss is the weekly price chart for HBAR. I saw that there were a few comments and various issues regarding HBAR and Hedera, as well as fund misappropriation. A recent post by Hedera was accompanied by comments, which I read. If any of you have any information or official sources related to this topic, I would be more than happy to check into it. There is not enough information available to me to develop an opinion regarding it. I am not sure if this is connected to what was discussed in the HBAR Bowl on YouTube, which was about the executives of Hedera making a lot of money, which is obviously not a good picture when the values of cryptocurrencies go down. So, any information, regardless of whether it is positive or negative, is appreciated. First, I would want to have a look at it and think about it. It is possible that this is a very valid issue, but it could also be that it is simply a group of holders who are furious after watching a significant drop. This is the typical situation that occurs when price action is down and people believe that it is directly the fault of the project. And it might be, so if you have any information about it, please let me know down here. However, at the end of the day, I just know that this is just noise until we possibly get Bitcoin's first huge move like we have seen in the previous 3 cycles, which we have not yet got. Allow me to take a brief look at the HBAR price chart, focusing primarily on the most recent cycle. When Bitcoin's most recent cycle generated huge moves and all-time highs, we have already discussed and demonstrated the benefits of using DAG as an example. How did the DAG behave? The price dropped to all-time lows, and then it played catch-up later on. During the most recent cycle, which occurred during the week of December 14th, Bitcoin made its maiden substantial moves and all-time highs. This marked the beginning of the cycle. How did the HBAR behave? During the 28th of December, it subsequently launched after experiencing an even more severe crash. As of this very week, the alt season has begun, and Bitcoin's dominance has reached its highest point. Consequently, if we take a look at the price chart for Bitcoin domination, we may examine the date that the vertical line was drawn, at this moment, the 28th of December in the year 2020, during the time before the major crash. This was the most dominant form of Bitcoin. Therefore, this was the alt season that occurred during the previous cycle. It is essential to keep in mind that Bitcoin dominance does not just decrease when the price chart of Bitcoin dominance crashes or when Bitcoin's market share decreases. During this time, the Bitcoin US dollar price chart is creating higher highs, which causes it to drop. In this way, Bitcoin USD rises higher while Bitcoin's dominance goes down. The historical season that we have witnessed is currently taking place. And regardless of whether you believe in another alternative season or not, it is okay. To clarify, I am merely stating that. The structure is present, and we have not witnessed that collision. Thus, the alternative season has not yet taken place. There are a lot of people who are suggesting that certain assets have been entirely overlooked during the entire season, but we haven't seen it yet. Bitcoin's supremacy has not yet experienced a crash, and the cryptocurrency has not yet gone on a run into large moves, resulting in higher highs. If anything like that occurred in a number of alternative versions even later on and they did not perform, then I would argue that they missed the entire season, but we have not seen it. Guys, as is customary, this is never intended to be financial advice. This is merely my personal view. Moreover, when I look at the weekly and monthly timeframes of previous cycles, I am demonstrating to you exactly why I believe what I believe. When we take HBAR as an example, we can see that it was ranging up, down throughout the bull run that occurred during the previous cycle. However, when alternative season arrived, it returned to its previous level. To put it another way, there are 2 distinct groups of individuals: those who have faith in the possibility of an alternative season, which includes myself, and others who have decided that they are finished with cryptocurrency. Even though this market hasn't been enjoyable at all, everyone has the right to feel whatever they feel about it. As we look at the monthly price chart for Bitcoin, we can see that we have not yet witnessed the first substantial move in all-time highs, which is something that we have witnessed throughout the course of the last 3 cycles. During the month of March, we established a final price nevertheless. We did not observe the initial significant movement or the initial fat monthly candle as we have observed in previous cycles. There was no delay here. At this very moment, we popped into an ultimate price, and then 2 months later we detonated, and then approximately 2 weeks after that, we were here. Another thing that sets us apart is that we have been hovering close to the peak of our prior cycle for well over 100 days. The length of time that we have ever roamed around a cycle peak without first witnessing that huge move is the longest that we have ever done. I know I shared months ago if we were to follow what 2017 did, the longest we actually ranged near our cycle top before getting that first major move of 2 months. We should have seen Bitcoin's first major move in May, and as we turn the lights off, and I'm sure everybody is sick of me talking about this for months, but the 8-month EMA holding above this level is really important. We've seen wicks below this level, but for the most part maintaining the monthly candle closure above this level. So what I still believe is that it's really important to maintain above the 8-month EMA, and we are just above it. But we did wick below it. Now the 8-month exponential moving average is approximately $56,630 due to the fact that we are currently close to the 8-month exponential moving average. I just wanted to briefly go through the Bitcoin price chart. Either we are able to maintain this level or we will get closer to the trend line. The 8-month exponential moving average has never been so much below us before. I have witnessed us returning to trend lines, even internal trend lines, namely following the dates of the Bitcoin halving, which are represented by these purple circles, but I have never witnessed US falling so far below. Even this instance occurred prior to the half of the Bitcoin supply. And historically, following the halving of the Bitcoin supply, we have witnessed fluctuations, but for the most part, we have consistently kept trading above the 8-month exponential moving average EMA, notably monthly candle bodies. Examining Bitcoin's trend on a monthly and weekly basis, as well as its higher highs and higher lows, is something that I continually reminding myself to do. Because of this, we are still in an upward trend, despite the fact that we have reached the trend line. Therefore, regardless of whether we continue to hold or fall, this is still maintaining an upward trend. That being said, when we look at the price chart of Bitcoin or any other price chart, we either go up, down, or sideways. These are the three things that are really evident. I think it is highly critical to maintain a position above the 56,000 level at the 8-month exponential moving average if we move sideways. In the event that we are unable to maintain that level, I will consider the trend line, despite the fact that I do not necessarily believe that to be the case due to the fact that both the monthly RSI and the weekly RSI, as well as momentum, are pointing downward. Anything is possible around that 45,000-46,000 area. Or we finally get the first major move for Bitcoin and Ultima Hees takes out that previous one. My macro view is probably really boring to many people, but I just want to share it with you because I believe, whether you believe it or not, that Bitcoin will experience another bull run and major moves in all-time highs. Whether you believe it will happen this summer, it is possible, or if it happens after elections, it is possible. Up until the point that we have actual confirmation from the Bitcoin price chart, everything is all guesswork. When looking at the historical cycles of Bitcoin, it is shown that there are 30 to 40% of collapses that occur on the way up when Bitcoin is maintaining an above-average trend. As an illustration, I provided this chart with you yesterday. It shows the price of Bitcoin from its peak in 2013 all the way up until 2017, when it had its first significant movement. Considering that this took 1,277 days, if we were to use that length just for the purpose of conception, then this is what I do in order to maintain a level of perspective. If we were to clone this and then take it to the point where the monthly RSI was at its pinnacle, it would indicate that the length of this would be somewhere around September 1st of this year. If we were to actually replicate this and apply it to the Altamir price of Bitcoin, which is currently around $69,000, where there is negative divergence and the monthly RSI was not at its top, then we would arrive at the month of May in the year 2025. You are free to disregard that sentence right there, since if we calculated the cycle from 2017 to 2020, it would have been even shorter, coming in at 1,096 days, using the monthly RSI